Hello everyone, you are welcome to today's lesson, and today's lesson is going to be a very short one. Okay, our task, this morning, today is to look at the solution to the assignment that was given in lesson 2, of vectors. Okay, so please stick and stay with me whilst I walk you through the solution, and you can see the marks there. So indirectly, it's a marking scheme that will guide you to do your marking as well. Okay, so quickly, anytime you read question, we check if there are any salient parts for us to underline. Okay, so here, given question one, given that the vector P has a magnitude of 25 units and is in the direction of, what we have here, find, the vector P. Okay, so if you read the question, you know that you've been given the magnitude of the vector that you are finding, which is P, and you are given the direction of the vector P. The direction of the vector P, we are told that the vector P is in this direction. So you've been given the direction vector, and the name of the direction vector is what? It's R. Okay, so you don't change its name. All that you were looking for, you have names, unlike the other one that we said in our previous lesson. If the vectors, they don't come with names, you will name them. But here, fortunately for us, they came with names. So now what do we do? Okay, after reading the question, underlining the salient part here, there is no salient part. We go and write solution. Questions are numbered because we want you to number your solution. So major question number one. Then you extract. If you look at, you extract mathematically any information that is given there that is not math. If it's math, you extract it directly as well. So we are told that the P here has a magnitude of what? Of 25. So it means, the magnitude of the vector P mathematically. So we are extracting, instead of writing, P has a magnitude of this, mathematically this is it. So given the magnitude of the vector P and a small p, so that you are supposed to bring so that because you can see that it's bold. So it's a special notation for position vectors. So the magnitude of the vector P will be equal to 25 units. And you are told, you've been given the R as well, which is the direction vector. So that's it. So you extract that one. That one came directly. So you extract it directly. Okay, so now we know what are we asked to find? The vector itself, the vector P. Okay, the vector P. How do I find the vector given its magnitude and its direction? I know it comes with a formula. The formula says my vector will be equal to the magnitude of the vector times the direction vector. So please take note. It is P vector times, not P, the unit vector of the direction vector. Okay, it's supposed to be did I say the unit vector of what? So let me take it again, forgive me. So your vector P will be equal to the magnitude of the vector times the unit direction vector. So it's not times P, cap. It's not times the unit, of what? The vector itself. So those of you who wrote that, be careful. I didn't say that. I didn't say that it will be the magnitude of the vector times the unit, direction vector of the vector itself. Okay, it is the unit direction vector, not the unit vector of the vector itself. So please take note. So this should be your direction vector, which is R. So R cap. Okay, so if you look at this, we know the parameter P magnitude, we know, but we don't know R cap, our unit direction vector, we don't know. So what do? I go and find that. But in that one too, it comes with a formula. So you can see your R cap will be equal to, so your unit direction vector will always be the vector over its magnitude. Okay, so don't forget your tildes. When you are extracting this, it came as in bold, so you extracted this, so you know all that. So I'm not going to belabor the point. Okay, so now what do we do here? We are going to we will need the magnitude here. So we are going to find the magnitude of the vector R, which we all know how to find it because we know how to find the magnitude of a vector in the Cartesian form. So it will be your x component squared, your y component squared root of that. So that's what we have here. If you continue and simplify, you get 13 units. Okay, you can choose not to write the unit here, but though I will encourage you to attach it so that where it matters most, you won't forget. Okay, so in this case, 13 units. Okay, then once you know that, it means we are in a pole position to find what's the R, cap, which is the unit vector in the direction of what? Of R, our direction vector. So what do? We come and substitute. So after substitution, you can split. Okay, or you go and substitute. But I decided to split. So that will give us what you have here. Then once you know the unit direction vector, indirectly we know P. So it means the two parameters that we would need to find the P, we know them. So it will be, therefore, my vector P would be equal to any small p. So don't write, they should see the tail coming down, okay, below the line. So a small p will be equal to 25, which is the magnitude of the vector. So the magnitude of your vector P, okay, so 25 times the unit direction vector, which is this. So that's what we have here. So times, instead of writing multiplication, you can write multiplication and put it in brackets. Ignore the multiplication, the meaning will be the same. So still you are multiplying. So at this point, what do? You know that your x and y terms should be explicit. Okay, so what do? So the I and j terms should be explicit. So you multiply each of them by what we have here. So it will be this times this, which will give us what we have here. This times this, which will give us what we have here. So here, you don't change this to Mace numbers. You don't change this one also to its corresponding Mace number because there is something attached. Okay, so when you have it, if it was only your final answer was only this one, then that's where you have to avoid concluding with an improper fraction. But here there is something attached. Okay, so you leave it in its mixed fraction form, sorry, improper fraction form, and that will be it. So look at the marks allotted. You extracting what you have there correctly will be B1. Okay, stating the formula will be B2 for the vector itself. Stating the formula for your unit direction vector will also be B2. Okay, this one, someone can quote the formula s squared plus y squared. Okay, before, so that person will have the B1 for the formula and M1 for the substitution. But if you don't quote, this is also a formula quoted, okay, in particular. If you use the s squared, y squared, that will be in the general. So it will be B1, M1. So if you wrote this B1, but if you separated the formulas in terms of the general and this, then you come and get your B1 and the M1 here. Take note. Okay, so M1 will be when you use the square. If you skip this, which I said you can skip, and you come and get this straight away, okay, you write M1 here, A1 here. Okay, take note. So you give your method mark here. Okay, so now at this point, we also come and substitute your substitution into this formula for the magnitude. You know this is 13. We'll give you M1. Okay, you splitting will give you M1 as well. Sorry, A1. Take note. If you didn't split, you can still give yourself, okay, though I want to encourage you to split always. Okay, you can, only that is your final answer that compulsorily you are supposed to what? Split. So if you didn't split, okay, this is what you are supposed to do. Give yourself M1, A1 here. So the A1 can also come here. Take note, I'm guiding you as to how to mark. Then at this point, direct substitution. If you didn't split, then your substitution, this is what must be here before you get your M1. Okay, then after that, okay, you will now, okay, come and split as well, and that will give you your A2. So that is what allowed. In that case, you will do more algebra here before you come and do your A2, come and get your A2. So take note. Okay, so now we are moving on to question 2, which was very technical. Most of you couldn't get it. It wasn't that too technical, but just one information that you needed to be very careful. Okay, so now let's read the question and see if there are any salient parts for us to underline. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the position vectors of the points. So we've been given position vectors. So when you are extracting, you should know of these points. So when you are extracting, you should know. Show that, so show. Anytime the question says show, your conclusion, you know. It's right angle at which point are the points B. Okay, so here, whether you like it or not, okay, because it's show, you were not asked to determine. Okay, it means your angle at B should strictly be 90 degrees. Okay, it should be right angle. So now, what do? As usual, questions are numbered because we want you to number your solution. So solution to question number 2, you extract what you are given. So it will be given A tilde equal, because we said the position vector of A, position vector of B, position vector of C. You cannot write given A, capital A is equal to this capital B. If immediately you extract it that way, you will lose the B mark here. Okay, we said position vector. So it means either you use OA, vector OA for this, or A tilde, okay, or vector OB, okay, which will be the B theta, or vector OC, okay, which will be another way of writing, okay, the position vector, but I use the special notations. Okay, so take note. But you can see that because the figure is mentioned, triangle, remember I told you that you are supposed to draw. Very critical. You are supposed to. So if you don't draw, you lose the B mark. Okay, so those who had it drawn, you get B mark 1 for your drawing. Okay, so now for this triangle ABC to be a right angle at B, okay, you know, it means when you dot these two vectors, okay, the vectors on the angle, on the lines forming the angle at B, if you dot them, you should get what? 0. Please take note. So here, when you are dotting, remember I told you the direction, okay, of your arrows, your vectors, very important. So if you are dotting, it's either the vectors that you are dotting are moving towards the point or away. So you dot BA, then BC. Okay, or somebody can do AB, okay, then in that case it will be CB. Okay, immediately you don't use any of these two directions, you are wrong. So for the condition for it to be right angled at B will be vector BA dot vector BC should be equal to 0. So if you're able to state this B1, okay, then now what do? You come and, okay, take this side. So you have to come and find vector BA, vector BC. So, but you know vector BA is equal to the A tilde minus B tilde, you know. Okay, so you use that one to find your vector BA. You don't know vector BA. So you come and find that. And vector BC will also be C tilde minus B tilde. So you equally do that. You can see the marks there. So I won't stress on that. Okay, so you substitute, simplify, and that will give you your vector BC. Now that you know the two vectors, you can dot. If you dot and you get 0, then it means your condition is satisfied. Therefore, you can draw your conclusion. So this implies that vector BA dot vector BC will be equal to, when you are dotting, you multiply S components, okay, Y components, then you add. So the S component here is 1. So it will be 1, okay, times minus 8. That is what you have here. Plus, okay, minus 4 times minus 2. So that's what you have here. So this will give us, if you deal with this one, this will give us minus 8, then plus, you work on this one, this will also give you plus 8. Okay, so at this point, you add and that will give you 0. You can see the marks there. So once the dot is giving you 0, it means your condition for it to be right angled at B is satisfied. So you come and draw your conclusion. Therefore, triangle ABC is right angled at B as required. Please don't forget this. This is very critical. As required. Anytime you see show, you see proof question, you always attach this when you conclude or to your conclusion. So please take note. I believe all that I've said, you should be able to relate with it. So everything here, question 1, 15 marks, question 2, 15 marks. If you sum all your marks, okay, it should be 15. Please, if you don't attach the as required, instead of A2, you will get A1. So that will be the penalty. Take note of that. Okay, and I will advise some of you change to column. Please, when the vectors come in the Cartesian form, don't change it to column. Column will always use more space. Or even when you change it to column and you are going to work with it, your answers must be, especially if you're asked to find vectors. Okay, with this one, you're asked to find a vector P. You cannot conclude with what? The column form. If you change to the column form, it must be still in the Cartesian form. So those of you who did that, please, I'm once again drawing your attention to that. Desist from doing that. If it's Cartesian, work with the Cartesian. If it's column, work with column directly. Usually, these two are algebra friendly. So now back to what I was saying. If you sum, your total marks should be 30 marks. So what you are supposed to do is, okay, sum your score, then indicate your score over the total score on top of your first page. If you had more than, okay, 2 pages. Okay, so indicate your score. So if you had 20 over 30, or if you had 20, write 20 over 30. Okay, please write it very big. It should be very conspicuous, very big, very clear. Okay, so take note of that over your total. Don't indicate only your score. Let us see the denominator. It's very critical. Okay, so at this point, thank you very much for your time. And when you do that, make sure you capture it and send it to me as well. So you should always mark and send your mark version. Thank you very much, okay, for your time and, okay, your, okay, I mean, everything. Okay, God bless us all.